To calculate your volumetric weight, you first need to calculate the volume of your shipment and then multiply it by a factor. Typically, this factor is about 167, but each cargo company is free to choose their own. Bear with me. So remember the example we started. If we have 50 boxes of dimensions 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 meters, that equals 0.125 meters cubed, cubic meters, per box. And for the total of the 50 boxes, that's 6.25 meters cubed. So that's the total volume of our shipment, 6.25 meters cubed. And then we multiply it by the factor. In our case, 167. And 6.25 times 167 equals 1043.75, which we then use the units of kilograms of volumetric weight. Remember, our actual weight was 750 kilograms. So in this particular example, our volumetric weight that we just calculated is a lot more than our actual weight on the scales. Why do they use this system, and why is it fair? Well, imagine if they didn't, and freight was simply calculated based on actual weight. Now, I want to ship hats. Not baseball caps, but the really fancy, delicate dress hats for ladies, like they wear to go to posh horse races. One hat in one box in lots of bubble wrap. In fact, one hat fits perfectly in this 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 box, and it weighs very little, just 1 kilogram per box. Great, I think. That's going to be super cheap to air freight, I might think. In fact, I think it's so cheap, I'll just fly a big roll of bubble wrap across the world too, and a giant bag of feathers. Clearly, the plane or ship would fill up with a tiny weight of cargo, and if it was charging per kilogram of actual weight, would make no money. And this just couldn't work. If, on the other hand, if prices were based only on the volume of cargo, then someone would decide to send boxes of paving slabs or tungsten by air freight as well. So there has to be a balance. A calculation that takes account of both how big and how heavy your cargo is. This is why you will be charged based on your chargeable weight, which is the maximum of your actual weight or your volumetric weight. Remember, to calculate your volumetric weight, you'll calculate the total volume of your shipment and approximately multiply it by 167. That's just a factor that any shipping provider can make up themselves to equate the cost of shipping big light things with small heavy things. Bear in mind that multiplying by 167 is the same as dividing by 0.006, and that in our calculations here, we've been working with the volume in meters cubed. If instead we were using the units of centimeters cubed for volume, then that factor will be something totally different. In reality, you will just enter the box size and the quantity details into the website of the freight company, and they will work out their volumetric weight for you and give you a quote. So if you were sending 50 boxes of big, light, fancy hats at just 1 kilogram each, and you put that quote into a quote comparison site for freight, you may find that you then get offered exactly the same price if you change the details and say that each box weighs not 1 kilogram but 2 kilograms or 3 kilograms. The same price? Well, all that is happening is that your volumetric weight is still bigger than your actual weight. So the extra actual weight doesn't affect the price until it passes a certain point, and your actual weight then becomes bigger than your volumetric weight. If mass isn't your thing, don't overthink that bit. What it all means is whether you're sending bricks or feathers, you will have to pay a proper price. So, summary. Shipping prices by air or sea or land will probably be quoted in dollars per kilogram of chargeable weight. Chargeable weight is the maximum of the actual weight or the volumetric weight. And the volumetric weight is nothing to do with your actual weight, but only to do with the volume, where the total volume is calculated and multiplied by a special factor.